What can you really say about Street Fighter 2 that hasn't already been said? It's a great game, and that's pretty much the reason it's been ported and remastered on virtually every console known to humankind. But the Switch version is kinda new, I suppose. It has a new mode, and it gives you a palette customization. It has a gallery. Yeah, okay, there's not much to it. And I can pretty much tell you right away that this game is in no way worth £30. Not in a million billion years. Not with this amount of content anyway. At the end of the day, it's a 25-year-old fighting game, and you can probably pick it up elsewhere for far, far less. Even so, it might not be worth it, but I picked it up anyway because I'm a sucker for nostalgia, and to be fair to myself, I haven't really played or owned any other version than Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. But anyway, like I said, Nintendo added a few new features to this version of the game, a new mode called Way of the Hadou, more customization options, and a gallery mode. From what I can tell, it's basically just a part of Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, so it includes the same additions to the fighting engine that were added in Hyper Street Fighter, like the super moves and the slight changes to the characters' movesets. Which is a shame because I really liked being able to cheat my way through a game with E Honda slowly shifting across the arena.
You win! Perfect!
I mean, look at this now. Now I can only slightly cheat. Oh well, I guess I've still got Blanca. And I'll admit, I'm not really a big fan of the super moves either. For a fighting game, it doesn't really come across as that balanced. The bar fills up way quicker for the player that's kicking ass. So thanks a lot, you've given a guy who can already kick my ass the ability to kick my ass harder and quicker. So in the end, the fighting system hasn't really had any significant changes or updates as far as I can see. Instead, what we did get was a brand new mode that was designed to work with the Joy-Cons. Kinda like those games for the Kinect you never played, like Dragon Ball Z.
Become a Super Saiyan. Only on Kinect for Xbox 360.
And Sonic Free Riders. And sadly, it works just about as well. It's just okay. It would have been nicer, of course, if just a little bit more effort had been put into it, but in the end, this is what we got. You basically have 3 modes to choose from: beginner, standard and expert. You can also learn the various motions to control Ryu in a training mode. And disappointingly, it's just Ryu. You can't play as any other character in this mode, which would have been at least one way to improve it. The motions for the most part are fairly straightforward and shouldn't give you too much trouble, at least in the training mode. In the actual stages it works okay enough, but I could never get the damn spin kick, that I'm not even going to try to pronounce by the way, to work properly. I tried over and over, and I was very deliberate and careful with the motion to pull it off, but for some reason I would always throw a Hadouken. It's the times I didn't try that it would activate. It would just activate at complete random. And the worst thing about it is, the game actually sets you up to use the I'd like some pound cake quite a lot. The actual stages themselves are nothing special either. It's just the same room across all 3 difficulties, and each stage is repeated exactly the same each time. Each stage is unique, but it's the same stage with the same enemies over and over, so as you can imagine, it gets old pretty quick. Especially after having to constantly throw Hadoukens over and over and over and over and over again.
Hadouken! 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 Hadouken!
The only real difference between the modes is that in Expert, after you've taken down the grunts, you have to fight Bison in a boss type battle. And the game doesn't mess around here either. This is where the leveling system comes in, and it's an incredibly shallow system. It's really just a way to artificially lengthen this mode, and it doesn't hide it very well. After each stage completion you get scored and then receive points based on the level of difficulty and how well you did. You put those points into the stat of your choice and there you go, stronger Ryu. After a few standard wins I was more than ready to beat Bison, and after I did, that was it. I just got the normal stage completion screen. No credits, no ending, no unlockables. Well, I suppose it was kind of fun for about 20 or 30 minutes. Anyway, the other added feature was customizable palettes, so now you can make any of the characters all the colours of the rainbow. Speaking of customization, you can also switch to either the classic 16-bit art style or the modern revamped art style, along with the sound effects too, which will carry over into online matches. I do have one minor gripe about the sounds, however. No matter which one you choose, you will always get the new fight narrator.
China.
Come on guy, put some feeling into it. It's not China, it's China.
China.
Arcade mode is the same old arcade mode. But then I realised that for some bizarro reason they took out the intermission mini games. Are you mad, Nintendo? At least add them as an extra mode or something. I mean, that was one of the funnest parts. I always thought it was funny to imagine a little man inside the car while you were smashing it up around him. The last feature is the gallery mode, in which they very helpfully tell you that they lazily ripped the art from an out-of-print book called Street Fighter Artworks Supremacy. They also mentioned they couldn't be bothered to translate it. Gee, thanks Nintendo. You can at least listen to the remix and classic versions of the stage music while you scroll through, so that's something. Although sadly it's not the complete score of the game, it's just the stage music. I'll at least admit the artwork is excellent, and it showcases art not just from 2 but from all the games, as well as some cameos. I think we'd all agree that this game would have been a lot more awesome if Morrigan had been included. Which actually brings me to my next point. Although the addition of Evil Ryu and Violent Ken is appreciated, I think it would have been much better if they were their own unique characters with completely new movesets, since now we've got 5 different versions of the same character if you count Akuma. I mean, come on Nintendo, you've got all those characters, but you couldn't even spare one as a special cameo fighter? No Little Mac or Captain Falcon? No? Alright. The last thing I'll mention is the online multiplayer, which personally I can say performed perfectly. I didn't experience any lag or connection issues of any kind, and everything loaded quickly and without fault. I didn't do too well, but that's just because I suck at Street Fighter. I'm glad that my cheap cheesing tactics worked online though, so that's something. Oh Blanca, never change.
Round 1, fight! Fire! 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 Hadouken! Hadouken! Fire! Hadouken! Fire! Fire! Hadouken! Fire! Hadouken! Fire! Hadouken! 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 Fire! Fire! Hadouken! Hadouken! Fire! Hadouken! Hadouken! Dulcie wins.